And also I will end the poll. Is it okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So
Well,
do you want to share the results to everybody?
yeah, can you see my screen?
I'm sorry.
Can you see my screen or no?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes, I will share the results, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Great. So almost 50-50, but almost half the people do talk to constituents. Terrific. Well,
Okay.
yeah, should it get started? Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's so nice to meet you. I'm excited to be here to talk to all of you about how to increase uptake of your programs, services, or initiatives through using human-centered marketing and communication. Okay. So my name is Katie Fiore, and I have spent my whole career prior to the Office of Innovation working in the private sector, primarily on consumer brands, but also working on business-to-business initiatives as well. Everything from broad awareness all the way down to like TV and radio, all the way down to the direct mail pieces that you'll get in your mailbox. And I've worked across a number of categories, including retail, nonprofit, publishing, travel. And I'm just really excited to be able to bring all of my skills and experience to the Office of Innovation, where at the CNE Lab, the Communication and Engagement Lab, our mission is to better connect New Jerseyans to the state programs, resources, and services. Oh, can everyone please mute themselves? Thank you. Yeah, the services are here to support them. So before we dive in, I wanted to share something quick with everybody that happened to me recently, which is I walked into my local Pilates studio and I went to check in with the receptionist, and she had this cute little dog on her lap, and the dog high-fived, and the dog high-fived me, and I thought that was so awesome that I wanted to take a video of it, and I did. I turned it into a GIF, and I was really excited. I have 2 teenagers, and I couldn't wait to come home and show them this video because I thought it was really cool. And by extension, their mom was therefore really cool. So I ran home and I showed it to my daughter, who, just kind of grunted at me, and I'm sure was just embarrassed that I even talked to her about it or showed it to her. And then I showed it to my son, and he just stared at it. He didn't say anything. And I was like, after a bit, hey, look at this. I'm high-fiving the dog. This is so cool. What do you think? And his response was, Mom, why is there a dog sitting in a cubicle? And that made me think of this moment of this workshop, because sometimes we get so excited about what we think is the most interesting and important thing for our audience to know that we lose track of what actually is the most interesting thing to them. This is my dog in a cubicle moment. So I was so excited. I wanted to show my kids I was a cool mom, which clearly I am not. He saw something more interesting. He saw a dog in a cubicle, and that frankly is quite interesting. So today we're going to practice trying to find our dog in the cubicle moments. So what exactly do I mean by that? Really talking to your audience about the things that matter most to them by telling them, defining for them the promise of the ultimate value your program, service, or initiative provides to them. We need to answer the ultimate consumer question, what's in it for me? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares what you have to say, even though you may change their life. They're not looking, right, to hear from you. And they have choices. They can choose not to listen to you, or they can choose to listen to you. So the more you can talk to them about the things that matter to them most, the more likely it is that you'll be able to activate them. Taking this approach is so important because it changes how we talk. Instead of thinking about how are we going to communicate what we think is important, what we think our audience needs to know, we're going to reframe that and start to come from a place of talking to them about the things they care about the most. And the way we do this is by using a human-centered approach. And what that means is using research to understand our audience's motivations underlying their behaviors, using those insights to articulate that true value for our audience, and developing strategies and messaging designed to meet people where they are and move them to act. And this is important because when we do it well, it's effective. So a couple quick examples that bring to life this approach and how we do it at the Office of Innovation. So the first example is for the Some College No Degree program. So the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education launched a new program designed to help the Some College No Degree audience return to school and complete their degree. They reached out to our team to help create awareness around this new program. So there's a lot of available research that was out there, and we went through all of it. It was super helpful. And one of the things that we read about, or that it talked a lot about, was how stopping out, so when people leave college, it causes people to lose confidence, and this lack of confidence holds them back from re-enrolling. So that was good information to have, but we wanted to go deeper. We wanted to learn more, like what is motivating people? What do they aspire to? What's ultimately holding them back from making progress? And when we did the interviews with people throughout the state, we did hear a lot about confidence, but we also heard something different. I was grieving. This is a quote from one of our respondents. Our audience wasn't held back by a lack of confidence. They were experiencing grief. They needed a moment to mourn and accept their loss before they could move forward. When they did this, they were able to take that first step because their mindset shifted from thinking they couldn't do this to believing they could. They still might not feel confident, but they had that inner strength so they could move forward. And this is our quote that was sort of the inspiration, or that brought this insight to life, which is, I stopped overthinking it, all the worries that come along with going to college. I decided I was just going to go for it. So this was our dog in the cubicle moment. We realized that by using this insight, we could inspire our audience to take their first step. So we developed 3 creative concepts and we tested them. And the messaging was designed to help our audience, to activate them, to inspire them to take that first step. And the way we did that was reframing the narrative. So instead of coming from a place that almost borders on being a bit patronizing, return to college and get your confidence back, or don't worry, we have your back, really respecting them and their journey and how what they were doing was amazing. Returning to college, they likely at that point in their lives had responsibilities like a family and a job, and like they're heroes crushing it. And we wanted to acknowledge how awesome they are with our messaging. And do that by using language that inspires them, right? And acknowledges their journey, and then giving them proof that it could be done by featuring real residents in the advertising. So you don't have to try and read these concepts. Just the point is we tested 3 different approaches, and the concept that won actually changed our audience's perception to more strongly believe that they would complete their degree and feel more supported by the state and what they were doing to help them make that come true. And I'm going to share with you the 30-second ad that we produced, which hopefully this will work.
Everyone has their own reason for not finishing their college degree, and an equally important reason for wanting to go back. Financial stability, a career change, for your family, for yourself. Whatever your reason, mydegree.nj.gov can help. Created by the state of New Jersey, this resource connects you with financial aid information and even real-life help to navigate your return to college. There are so many reasons to check it out and complete your degree once and for all. mydegree.nj.gov. Whatever your journey, we'll help it continue.
Oops,
Everyone
sorry. I have a hard time.
Everyone has their own reason for not finishing. Everyone has their own.
So sorry, I have a hard. Let me see if I can get this to move forward. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So our next quick case study is for business.nj.gov, which was the state of New Jersey's new business one-stop to help residents start, grow, and operate a business in the state of New Jersey. So the site launched and traffic was a bit stagnant, and that was limiting the platform's ability to make impact with our audience, with entrepreneurs, business owners throughout the state. So they tapped the CNE Lab to help increase users to the site, drive awareness, and ultimately help accelerate outcomes. So when we did interviews for business.nj.gov, we actually uncovered an insight that was a bit unexpected for us, which is that small business owners are creating impact in their communities, and they're aware of this. And they feel really proud of it, and they start tying it to their definition of success. So it wasn't so much that we were talking to business owners that were social impact entrepreneurs. It was that they were aware that when they started their business, they started hiring people. They create jobs in the state, and that's extremely important to them. Or the work that they're doing is creating affordable housing for people within their community, or creating, healthy foods that are creating, better outcomes for people in their community. So this sense of contributing and the importance of creating impact becomes very much tied up in their definition of success. So when we ask them, what do you really want from the state to help you with? Their answer is, we want help to succeed. And that was because the more successful their business was, the greater their community impact. And our quote for inspiration from one of our respondents is, free money is nice, but it's not the same thing as having a thriving business. So this was our dog in the cubicle moment, where we used this insight to develop a campaign to bring to life how business.nj.gov helps independent businesses succeed. So I'm going to show you the 30-second ad for this initiative.
Owning a small business can be challenging.
Owning your small business takes vision.
Running your own business can be very rewarding. Business.nj.gov has so many resources I wish were available to me when I first started my business.
Advice, information, and registration.
It's all right here.
Business.nj.gov.
Success starts here. Owning a small business.
Okay. And if I didn't mention before, all of our initiatives feature real residents in our advertising. So those were some college no degree students that I showed you before, and these are real business owners of the state of New Jersey featured in this ad. So as a result of this campaign, business.nj.gov users increased by over 70%. The growth was driven by members of underserved communities whose traffic more than tripled. And during this time, the website saw a dramatic increase in business registrations, which offset a statewide decline in registrations, which was pretty exciting. So my point here is just to show everybody, everyone on this call in this workshop can create messaging that inspires your audience to act. The reality is the tools you need are already in place. You know your audience, you have research, you can talk to people. It's really just a matter of tapping into what's available to create that better understanding of what your audience wants, what's in it for them, what they want to hear from you, so you can talk to them in a way that inspires them to act. So remember our human-centered approach, conducting research to understand our audience's motivations, using those insights from research to articulate the true value for your audience, and crafting strategies and messages to meet people where they are in a way that will move them to act. Okay, so now we're going to start to get into the workshop portion of the program. So how it's going to work, I'm going to give you a very quick example, real example that we're going to have 3 activities, and the example is going to go through like basically activity 1, 2, and 3, sort of bring to life in the theory what we're going to be doing. We're going to have 5 minutes to work on each activity. After each activity, we'll share back. We'll spend 5 more minutes asking people like if they're willing to share back with us, and hopefully it'll be a good conversation. So the example in action. This is a program that the New Jersey DOL launched to help unemployed and underemployed New Jerseyans. In addition to the extensive research that was shared with us, we did some qualitative interviews to create a deeper understanding around the motivations, aspirations, and pain points of the audience of this program. We had a ton of research, a ton of findings. This is a grand oversimplification, but just to share out with you 4 like very high level things that we learned with our interviews. Which first, our audience has a vision of their life that they want for themselves and their family. The quote unquote right job is how they are going to make that vision a reality, which include aspirations of standing on their own 2 feet, having a job where they can do what they love, and really finding their place and purpose in the world. To get the job they really want, they have to overcome a lot of hurdles, and the process can be very dehumanizing. But despite all of this, and all the setbacks that they have to get through, they still believe they're going to succeed and land their dream job. So those research insights helped us find our critical insight, which is going to be our first activity. So, but I'm going to finish the example first. So what is a critical insight? It's taking your research and finding that nugget that really speaks to what it is that your audience wants to achieve. It can be a couple data points, it could be a couple quotes strung together, but it really just brings to life the most important thing that you need to know. So in this case, our critical insight based on our research was that it's not about finding a higher paying job. It's about what the right job will do for our audience. And this is the quote that we used for inspiration. Working helps me feel better about myself. It's not about the money. It gives me a sense of purpose, like I really get to do something with my life. So next, we took our critical insight and used that to develop our value proposition. So a value proposition, it's a marketing term, but it's basically a statement that speaks directly to your audience in terms of what they want to accomplish and if there's help that they need in order to succeed. So the value proposition for this program that we developed, you know where you want to go, Fund My Future helps you get there. So this is, I think, a great example of a value proposition statement because it speaks to the actual progress that our audience is trying to make. It acknowledges their vision that we talked about at the beginning. It puts them in control of their journey. It conveys the program's core benefits, which are money and what the money will do for you. It validates their experiences and the progress that they have made so far. And most importantly, it's inspiring, it's aspirational, and it's activating. It's something that you can, reach out to and you want to be part of. And then lastly, we rewrote our messaging. So using that insight, we took messaging that we had and we rewrote it to speak to that what's in it for me question. I'm going to share quickly what this looked like. So before, the program was called LILA, which stands for Lifelong Learning Accounts, which I believe is an acronym that multiple states use. So that's how we initially were talking about it. So introducing LILA, an initiative that offers New Jersey residents a chance to hit the restart button on their career. What is LILA? LILA is New Jersey's Lifelong Learning Accounts program, created as part of Governor Murphy's Future of Work initiative. This program was designed to empower residents to take charge of their career development by offering job coaching, training, and employment support. This 2-year program will help jobless and underemployed low-income adults improve their future outcomes. So well written, it's good copy, not particularly exciting. So after we, part of what we did with this initiative is we renamed it. We renamed it from LILA to Fund My Future. So after our headline was literally our value proposition statement. You know where you want to go. Fund My Future helps you get there. Fund My Future. Get the skills you need for the in-demand career you want. Fund My Future is a transformative pilot program created by Governor Murphy's Future of Work Task Force to help eligible job seekers achieve their career goals. Get up to $9,600 for education and upskilling to drive your success. So hopefully it's kind of clear. We're saying the same thing. We're just saying a little bit differently, a little bit more simply, and trying to lead with what's in it for me, what I will get out of it, and make it really clear and exciting. Once you hook people, it's a lot easier to get them to go on the journey and read the rest of the content. Okay, so our activities are going to be to find your critical insight, write a value proposition, and rewrite your messaging. And then we're going to break them down into chunks. I'll explain how each of them will work, and then we'll give you 5 minutes to work, and then we'll come back and we'll chat. So our first activity, so I think everybody was asked to bring with them some copy. So we're going to be using whatever that initiative is as the fodder for the activity. So using what you know about your audience, either through past research or direct contact, write down some of the things that you found to be most interesting or unexpected. If you can, focus on anecdotes, feelings, quotes. So like, I don't expect you to go into your binders and folders and files and look up actual research. Just do this by memory. You don't have to have actual quotes in the real world. We would do this. This is just an exercise. Feel free to make up quotes for your audience. But just try and boil down a couple statements that describes the progress your audience is trying to make. challenge you're trying to overcome or any unmet need or that your program or service can fulfill. And really try and focus on the emotional parts of it if you can. So I am going to set the timer and give everybody 5 minutes. And I'm going to try and if there are questions, answer them in the chat. So we can get started right now. Okay, our 5 minutes are up. Would anybody like to share the insight or insights you came up with? I guess if you could raise your hand. I might have to call on people if someone doesn't volunteer.
I mean, there's one on in the chat. There's
Oh, let me see.
okay, maybe from Michelle.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. So, let's see. Inform. So basically, I'm working on an initiative to simplify grants.gov to make it more equitable and accessible to more people who have been historically unable to really use the website because it's complicated and uses language that doesn't really make sense to them, et cetera. So I kind of thought about some of the words that we picked up in our research, and one that kind of stood out to our researcher was the word burdened, that they feel very burdened by the process. And then I try to think like what else does our audience, what motivates them, what drives them? And I wanted to say things like saving time, not wanting to pull their hair out, etc. But I'm actually not sure that's, what they are thinking about. I think I need to dig a little bit more into the research. Seems like potentially a dog in the cubicle moment where I'm guessing at what motivates them, but I'm not entirely sure. So gave me a lot to think about.
And grants.gov, is that where people can go and
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. So they would go there. So different federal agencies will post their funding opportunities there, and they will go there to search for opportunities, grants, and then also apply for money.
Mhm. So, I mean, I guess their motivation also may have to do with their program and the success of that and trying to grow it or develop it as well.
Right. Yeah, great point.
So, I mean, that's kind of where, we're spitballing, obviously. I'm
Right.
deeply
Yeah. I guess it goes
audience.
beyond like wanting to save time, but like, what's the ultimate reason why they're there in the first place? And that's to further their mission or their organization's purpose. So
Exactly. And if they're and it can be that sometimes it can even go deeper in terms of the people that they're trying to help, like the outcomes they're trying
yeah.
to create. But you have to be careful, you don't want to take it so far that you
Mhm.
kind of lose sight of the
Right.
piece in between. But I think that it seems like you're going down the right track. It's really just potentially asking different types of questions in your interviews. I think a lot of times people that work on programs and services, they're very focused on the program and the service.
Mhm.
Ultimately, a lot of times the program or service, it's the tool that helps the person. It's not really the reason why. So it's like connecting that. You want to do this, this is going to help you do that. And this is it's going to help you get where you go, basically.
That's a really great point. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wanted to share any of the insights they came up with? One other person, a brave soul. Okay, well, we can move on to the next exercise, next activity then, which is, oops, I went too far, I'm so sorry. Writing a value proposition. So using the insights, that you identified in the last activity, the data points or insights, try and write a statement that speaks to the progress your audience is trying to make and how it is that your program or service is really going to help them do that. It's going to be there for them and really make it happen. So remember that the value proposition is a statement that answers the ultimate question, what's in it for me? There is a formula for doing this, but I deliberately didn't include it because I didn't want anyone to get sort of hung up on like sort of the Mad Libs part of filling in the blanks. It really just think about, it could be a statement or two. The main thing is to really try and get in your audience's shoes and write something that speaks to what's important for them. And the only other caveat I will give you is that a value proposition is hard to develop. It can take a couple weeks. It's a lot of conversations. People, multiple people have opinions about it. It's something that has to be worked through. So there's no expectation that anyone is on this call going to come up with a value proposition that you can use. It's really just to start to give you a sense of familiarity with thinking from that kind of way and trying to write those types of statements, give you a little flavor for it. So it's something you can take to, your daily work with you. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat while you're working. 5 minutes are up. Hopefully this wasn't too difficult. Like I said, this writing value proposition is a lot of work. Just wanted to give people a flavor for it. Would anybody like to share what they came up with?
I'm happy to share because I've already kind of given a little bit of a backstory
Yeah.
on my problem. So I'll just put it in the chat, what I came up with. And yeah, it's really just messy and kind of a brainstorm at this point. But simplergrants.gov will be designed to be easier to use, streamlined application process. Okay, sorry, there's some weird words sprinkled in there. And less stressful for you and your team. You'll find the opportunities you are eligible for and that are more relevant to your interests and guide you through the application process step by step, which are things that are not really happening right now. You'll make progress toward your organization's mission so you can solve the problems that you care about.
So I think this is great. The last statement that you wrote is the most important piece of it.
Okay.
That you can make progress toward your mission so you can solve the problems you care about. I think that's that's very important, and that should be the lead.
Got it.
Some of this, so it's interesting because you have I thought you had something, the application process is smoother and less stressful. I'm not sure what that's compared to.
Yeah, the current experience.
Because they may not know that. They may not have ever visited the site before. So, I mean, you'll make, what is it? Let's see.
Well, it is being developed in parallel, so both exist at the same time. And I was imagining that the audience are people who are specifically learning about the Simpler initiative. But no, I completely agree with you. I think, yeah, I guess I found the same trap again, where the first few things are more about kind of, how the website is better, but doesn't really speak to their goals. So,
And do they, I mean, on one hand, do they care, like, not to be snarky, like, or smart or whatever, like, do they really care? Like, is it all they really care about is being able to, what you said, make progress toward their mission, and how you are going to help them do it, because your website is easy to use, it offers a smooth process, and it's tailored or relevant to, what you're trying, or whatever those proof points are. So usually the way you would do it is like you would have a statement like you have here. You'll make progress towards your organization's mission so you can solve the problems you care about. We're going to help you do that by point 1, 2, and 3, your proof points. And that's kind of all that's how you can even craft a homepage or an email or anything like that. So you have it all right here. It's just a little reorganization. I had a former mentor who came from journalism, and she always used to tell me, don't bury the lead. So I feel like your last sentence is your lead. Don't bury the lead, put that at the top, and then everything else can follow. But this is great. I think you got to a really great place with this.
all right, thank you.
Michael, yes.
I'll go ahead and put in the chat as well. But a little background, we're working on trying to make virtual healthcare more accessible to our veterans in the Department of Veterans Affairs, more accessible and more attractive to our veterans. So the value proposition statement I came up with was take control of your health and data, find access to all your health benefits. My Healthy Vet is here to keep you informed and connected to your healthcare team. And again, a little more background. What we've noticed from our veterans is they are trained for operational security. They care about their data. They care about being in control of what of their health and their data and everything like that. And so the app is there to help you do that, and we need to do a better job of communicating that. So emphasizing that they are in control of, the health that they receive and the benefits that they have and the data, their healthcare data that is already in the VA system.
So this is great. I like how like simple and to the point this is. My question for you would be, why is that important? Why is that control important?
It is a value that we've identified from our audience. The veterans, they value the control that they value control of their situation, and they perceive that that there's a bit of a lack of control. A lot of veterans talk about they don't have they don't get to talk to their healthcare team in the manner or effectively, or they don't have access to all their healthcare benefits. They find it hard to do that, and when you give them control, they want more control. Then they feel more satisfied and more apt to engage in more of the services.
So it's almost like it's getting the control you expect, the control you need, the control
Yeah,
in other places in
Yeah.
their life that they have, and you're recreating it here. It's like get the same kind of control you expect over this really important place of your life. So I think this is great. Like I think there's a lot of, like I said, it's simple, which is terrific. It's to the point. And yeah, I think this is great. You can play with it certainly a little bit and try and like I said, a lot of times when you do value propositions, like a technique is to ask 5 whys. Why is this important? Like why? Just keep going down that. Like what is that higher level? Like that's why I was asking about control. Like what does that mean? Is that like how do you unpack control? And why is that so important? Is it because all the things that you said, or is there anything more to it? Or maybe not.
Right.
Like it is exactly what you said, and it is sort of almost transactional. It's like you got that control everywhere else, you're going to get it here too, and we're the only ones that can deliver it for you, kind of a thing. But this is perfect. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to, so thank you. We're going to move on to the third and final activity, which is to rewrite your messaging. So everybody hopefully brought with them a sentence or two. It could be a headline. It could be honestly whatever you want. But thinking about the critical insight that you came up with and the value proposition that you just wrote, where you hopefully are starting to transition more from telling people what we think they know to starting to talk to them about the things they care about, like leading with that. Can you take your messaging and play around with it to rewrite it and just take more of that point of view in that approach? And it could be as simple as changing a couple words, could be as simple as moving a sentence up or down, or you can take a stab at rewriting it. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and then just let me know if there are any questions in the chat. Brave souls that would like to share their rewritten copy, drop it in the chat, talk about it. Even maybe a headline, a single sentence. It's okay. I know it's hard. And if you're not a writer for a living, it can, which I am not, it's hard to share your work. So, but I hope everybody was able to work on the exercise and got something out of it. So, let's just see next. So, congratulations to everybody. Hopefully you're able to find your dog in the cubicle moment from now on, because we practice the tools that will help get you there by identifying critical insight, developing a value proposition, and then writing messaging that moves your audience to act. We have a few minutes left. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them for people. And I can stay on if anybody, for 5 minutes, if people can drop off. But thank you for your time. Here's a QR code for the Communication and Engagement Labs playbook. So you can feel free to check it out and learn more about the type of work that we do. We basically tried to operationalize our approach and put it out there so that anybody could take advantage of it. Let's just see the couple questions in the chat. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, but I can stay on for a few more minutes if anybody has questions. But I really appreciate everybody's time, and I hope this was informative and enlightening and helpful for your work.
Thank you. This has been great. I just have a quick, I guess, logistic question. Is it possible to get a certificate for like attending this session? I'm not sure if Innovate usually does that.
I'm answering this. Yes, all our participants get a certificate the day after the completion if you attend. Yeah, sure. And also you will get a summary of all the session with the learning points, like everything Katie have explained and the resources and so on. It's like comprehensive summary of the session.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much. And Katie, thank you for highlighting the protocol.
Yeah, thank you for attending.